Kristin, Merry Halloween!
Merry Halloween, Kevin!
I have my Christmas candy right here.
Oh my goodness. What are you giving out this year?
Well, nothing. Nobody ever comes to our house, but I have Skittles.
You live at the creepy house at the end of a scary driveway that people are like, don't go there. Don't.
So let's pretend
Uh-huh.
that it's Christmas, since Hallmark decided they were going to pretend 2 weeks before Halloween that it was Christmas.
Was this sooner than last year?
I think by a week. If I'm not mistaken, it's a week earlier.
Okay.
Because I think last year it started on Halloween. This is a week before Halloween.
Sure.
So we're back.
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
Welcome.
Hey.
We're out of practice.
We have practice. Y'all, it's season 2 of Remark.
I've been thinking about it. Either welcome to season 2, unless you watched us review Disney Plus's series Loki, in which case that was ipso de facto season 2, and this becomes season 2.5 or season 3. I don't know, but welcome back to another season of Remark. I am your host, Kevin Regan.
I'm your other host, Kristin Finger. We're very excited to be back. And here's the thing, Kevin.
Yeah.
I still have my mug. And do you have your mug? Okay, good. Okay.
What, can we do it? Can we do it? I know it. Other side.
How do you know?
Because I'm the one recording. There it is. And we have changed Remark a little bit. We're not going to do every single movie as one episode. Instead, we're going to do every single weekend. And if you look at the timeline, hopefully, for the love of God, it is not 3 hours long. I'm hoping it's going to be somewhere around 45 minutes. It's up to Kristin. It's up to Kristin and how much we can cut of her. So if all of a sudden it just jumps, you know that Kristin said something awesome and I got pissed off and it went too long. But we are going to be much quicker, more brief. If you watch these episodes and you loved them, awesome. There are other podcasts that really go deep into this. If you didn't watch them and you're like, I got no frame of reference, awesome, because maybe we didn't either. So just hang with us for this holiday season, and we will do every episode or every weekend of the Hallmark
Holiday Christmas movies.
That's what we'll call it.
So, Kevin, I thought I'd be a little festive by putting this scarf on.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. It is like 75 degrees in Philadelphia tonight. So,
yeah, we had a storm come through. We were hoping it was going to get cooler. It did not. But yes, it was incredibly hot today. Another reason. Listen, here's the thing. I don't know what people's belief systems are and whatnot, but man, it's not supposed to be this hot in October. And if you like hot chocolate, it's gonna continue to be like this years after years after years after years. And drinking hot chocolate's going to become painful. It might be time to call your local congressperson and say, maybe we do something.
Are you talking about global warming? Okay. So Kevin, we didn't have to. We had the pleasure, the joy of getting to watch the 3, I'm going to call this like almost preseason kickoff event. Yeah. Because and here's a question I have for you, Kev,
these count. This is not preseason.
They 100% count. I get it. But it's like, because it's not even, I don't know. I haven't dressed up as Ted Lasso yet for Halloween. So my question for you is, do you think these 3 movies, like, do you think there is a madness to these should be the first 3 because this person's in it and this person and this is the plot? Or do you think it's like, who got done finished?
Yes.
That's it. It's as they get finished is as you think that's it?
I 100% think that. And we know that because things like Christmas House 2 just wrapped last week. And like, this isn't like, we can't shoot this months in advance. And it's like, oh, no, they literally just wrapped principal photography, which means they're editing like crazy now. And that'll come out. And they have no date. That's the other thing is a lot of these movies, if you look at the lists, they do not have air dates yet. So no, I really think it's what gets done first. I definitely think they prioritize to, how they wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
I will say this, a little bit of a spoiler, in You and Me and Christmas Trees, which used an Oxford comma. They end the entire movie with the lighting of the tree. And I almost want in the town center, and I almost wonder, do they do that in all of the Hallmark kickoffs? Because that's one of their big things is lighting the Christmas tree.
That's a fun fact, Kev. That we would have to do some research on.
Not going to. I refuse. Someone else do it. Right. And write to us at the Remark Show. Is that right?
At Remark the Show.
It's been a year. At gmail.com. And tell us, say, Kevin, Kristin, I don't believe in global warming, or Kevin, Kristin, they always light a Christmas tree on that first episode.
Yeah, it might be true. Also, because heavy hitter Danica McKellar right out of the gate.
Sure.
I was like, oh, we're really kicking this off. It's like, because I wasn't sure if she was going to be in another one this season. So if she's one and done, like, wow.
That's a great question too, because last year we had not Jennifer Love Hewitt, but I always call her that.
Or Lacey Chabert.
Yes, thank you. Lacey Chabert was in 2 of them. Yeah. And I don't know if anybody's pulling double duty. I know the one Williams sister, not Kimberly Williams, but not Kimberly
Ashley
Williams. Ashley Williams is doing. She might even be doing 3 because she comes into the
right. She's in her sister's one, and then she's in this one.
She's in her own. Yeah,
and then she's in So that's Kev. I mean, we talk about this all the time. That's the dream, right? It's just that I just want to be either the Ashley Williams or the old lady. That's it. That's everyone's grandma in every single.
Listen, hang in there. There is a new segment that we're going to run all season long, and I think you'll really appreciate it. But let's get to it because we're not going to spend a lot of time on these movies. The first movie that we saw was You, Me, and the Christmas Trees, which came out on October 22nd. You heard that correctly. At 8 p.m. on Hallmark proper. It starred Danica McKellar, Benjamin Ayers, and Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years, little reunion between Danica and Wayner.
I will say though, Kevin, and I don't mean this to be insensitive, but when he rolled up, I was wondering if he was okay. The first few lines in that film, he seemed very off and very like, like.
Well, hold on. I'm going to defend him and say you and I, when we just started this, seemed a little off. My man's rusty. It just happened.
He's rusty. Yeah. But like as the film got on, I think he was like, I'm a jerk in this, which is great. I enjoyed it. And I think there was like a little wink, wink, nudge in the situation where he was like, and who are you? To Danica McKellar's character, which is just a cute little wink of, I know who you are personally.
Yeah, and even at the very end where he goes, I think he called her Tree Lady. Tree Lady.
Yeah, Tree Lady.
Well played. Well played. He was being arrested. And he was going to jail because she busted him. Spoiler.
Well played. It was very Scooby-Doo ending, like, starring kids and the Tree Lady.
Yeah. So the official synopsis from Hallmark is an evergreen tree expert, Olivia Arden. Yep.
Is that a thing? Go on.
Arden, her last name, they just stuck with what they know. She teams up with a Christmas tree farmer named Jack Connor, which I asked my wife, I said, aren't Christmas trees conifers? Isn't that what? And she said, yeah. And I was like, I think that's why his last name is Connor. And she goes, oh, no, you don't think so, do you? And I thought of the writers and I was like, Yeah.
Oh, listen, Kevin, this is amazing because our number one fan, Sarah Blask, texted me after watching this and said, did you notice that her name obviously was Olivia Arden?
Yeah.
So Arden, but then also she was like, I also would put money on them liking it because it sounds like Olive Garden. Olivia Arden.
They were going for it. Yeah, they were going for some advertisement that didn't pay out. But Blossom Hill was like, we got it covered. We're good. We're good. Yeah, so Olivia Arden and Jack Connor have to get to the bottom of a mysterious illness. Heyo, did we not all just live through this for 17 months? That's threatening this year's crop of Christmas trees. So that's what we're looking at with this bad boy. So I guess, Chris, let's do this overall. What did you think of the movie?
Overall, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
And this is something that I like went into it. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Yeah. But like what I didn't hate about it is Danica McKellar's not a bad actress. This Ben Ayres, quite charming and very lovable in this film.
Yeah.
And there wasn't like the only thing that made it very Hallmark for me was the mom always just on her phone talking to her daughter. Those shots were strange. Like those were like, got an hour with this lady. Let's get them done.
Yeah. So I wrote that down too. I know we didn't, this year we decided let's not take notes. But I did point out, I wanted to say it, what is her name? Karen Kruper plays Ellen Arden. By the way, Fred Henderson played Sid Arden, which is Olivia's father. They never said his name ever really? In the movie, because
didn't have time.
He was in one scene, and I'm like, and he was a recognizable Fred Henderson's been in Hallmark movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I saw him, I was like, man, I almost felt like they filmed a lot more and cut it out. But yes, when she would talk to her mother, presumably on like FaceTime or some equivalent, Danica McKellar would have her phone and she'd sit there talking, and they would just cut to this shot of her mother looking directly in the camera.
Hi. And it was very weird. I didn't like it.
No, it was very bizarre.
That was the one thing I was like, Hallmark.
Well, then I started thinking about if you're still shooting, obviously COVID protocols are still in place.
Yeah.
But they would do a cut from behind her computer once in a while, and I was like, just do that. Don't ever cut to this weird shot you're doing.
Yeah. So the other thing that I loved, and I did write these down because I think, Kevin, you'll appreciate a good pun.
I do.
This movie and the second movie were pun central. Okay, I'm going to hit you with some of my favorites. All right. Christmas trees are growing on me.
Yep.
September.
Yeah, that was awful.
Or she was stumped.
Yeah, that was her.
But 3 puns out the wazoo.
Were there more puns or plots in this one, do you think?
I think more puns than plots.
I don't know. There were a lot of plots that were left hanging. Well, there was the whole cider plot with his brother, not brother. It was like this childhood friend of his who would show up just because he liked his mom's cooking. And presumably his wife, I don't know if this is his wife or his girlfriend, but his companion, his partner. Mm-hmm. And they were creating hard cider too. They specifically said hard cider. And cider. Because Olivia's working, and it was also, she said, it's 10 a.m. And
I think it was 8 a.m.
Was that what it was, 8 a.m.? But she goes, they go, we have soft cider, and I've never heard anyone refer to it as soft cider before. Hard cider and just cider, right?
Just cider. I think it's just sparkling cider at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
But from now on, Kevin, I will refer to all non-alcoholic ciders as soft cider.
I think all non-alcoholic anything, like soft water, like whatever you have, if it does not have alcohol.
Yeah. Well, this is perfect because I only drink Acme brand Soleil. Please sponsor me. Seltzer, and now there's hard seltzer, so I technically drink soft seltzer.
Yes, you do. Is that what's in there? Mine's actual water. I have water.
Mm-hmm. It's always got bubbles. I like a bubble.
So there was the plot line that really drove me crazy, though, and then we can move on from here, is the plot between Olivia and her mother, which they open the entire movie up, and it's the mother very young, Olivia very young. She's climbing in trees. The mother gets upset because she's, the mother's very prim and proper. And that is this weird subplot, not plot, that comes into play at the end of the movie because the mom wants Olivia to come home for Christmas, but she's working and makes sure she's working so she doesn't have to go home. And then she finally confronts her mom, and she basically wants to tell her, I have news, which is she has met this fella. And the mom and dad jump in a car and drive to her, I guess, let's say an hour. I don't know how far away, but not down the street. And then when they show up, Olivia finally confronts her mother about how she's been her whole life. And it was just like, what movie is this? This is a different plot line.
It's interesting because I think I ignored that plot line. Yeah. I think I was literally like, oh, I get it. Her mom doesn't like that she's dirty.
She doesn't like
Even though she doesn't have a dirty job at all. Yeah. She's literally just a scientist that's usually in a lab. Yeah. And maybe out. Also, I just need to know if a tree scientist is a thing because
an arborist.
Sign up. That's awesome.
You know, there's an entire day dedicated to trees called Arbor Day, right?
I'm familiar.
Well, arborists are the ones who celebrate that, if you will. And in a way, aren't we all arborists?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I obviously someone has gone and gotten a degree in this, but I need to know, like, what if you choose? I'm only because she was an evergreen. That was like it was
not a Christmas tree,
right?
Don't put crap on these.
Yeah. So that I see where you're saying they pulled us in a couple different directions. Like, was their cider business going to go soft or hard? Was the mom going to hate or love her daughter? So I get it. That was a little much. So I think I was just focused. I thought the guy, Ben Ayers, was hilarious in this movie.
He was good. Yeah.
I thought he was great. And I'm telling you, when we do H3O, I mean, his score, I won't even talk about it, but his score's pretty high because he tickled he's just funny.
Oh, I was just sure what got tickled. Well, so
I'm trying to keep this less spicy. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. We've been kicked out of too many Hallmark groups. Last year, he did a film with, I think it was with Jill Wagner, if I'm not mistaken, where they were a separated couple. And that was the storyline where the kind of like Oprah came to town, if you will. Do you remember that episode, that movie?
Yes.
And I think it was because
it wasn't good.
It was because they weren't utilizing his like comedic charm, and it had that downer in relationship. I liked that they had a little car bump, non-accident. They showed nothing because the budget. They were like,
that was
cars touch.
Neither of them even did this. It was just like assume car crash.
Yeah, and then the cars were like touching, where like two like PAs very carefully pulled those cars together.
Stop. Louis, stop. Marvin, stop.
You're fired. All right. So on a naughty or nice list, I mean, let's do that this year. Naughty or nice. I give it a nice. I would watch this again.
I'd give it a nice. I'd watch it if it like replayed and I was doing work, I'd watch it.
Yeah, I'm deleting it off my DVR, but you're right.
Sure, I don't need it there anymore. That's just taking up space. But two of the other ones, the next two.
Well, before we hit it, I want to do a brand new segment that we're going to do on every one of these films called Who Would Kristin Finger Play? Yeah. Oh, look how sad. Oh, you're so happy, sad.
I'm so honored.
So I sprung this on you. You can either agree, or if there's somebody else. In this particular movie, I feel like you would play the part that is played by Jill Morrison, which is cousin Lisa, who runs the bed and breakfast or inn or whatever it's called.
Kevin, you are exactly correct. Because the moment she rolled up into that like bed and breakfast and she was like, no, take this pamphlet. I was like, ah!
So great. And the fact that at one point, like Jack is like, I'm going to lose the farm. And she's family. She's his cousin, you know? Yeah. And their grandfather started this whole thing. And she says, but you found love. And I'm like, yeah, this character's awesome.
I did. The moment she spoke, I was like, no, that should have been mine. That should have been mine.
In the end, because Jack refuses to grow any other crops, he ultimately will open up his heart, if you will, and grow other crops. and specifically they mentioned pumpkins. So I just wanted to say that I think I did it under Remark. I messaged Ben Ayers, or I posted on his thing saying, "Oh, you would be Jack the Pumpkin King," and then he recited some of the lyrics from Nightmare Before Christmas. So mad props to Ben Ayers. That might bump him up in my H3. Yep.
I'm telling you, that's cool. Like, come on. When Kev and I are famous, we'll respond to your Instagram things as well.
But you can respond to us right now by emailing us, let me get this right, at remarktheshow@gmail.com.
Correct. So thank you, Ben Ayers, for being a kind human being and understanding Kevin's bit. And also, perhaps that's a Fall Harvest follow-up sequel.
I referenced that too. So the next movie that we watched was a little something called The Boyfriends of Christmas Past, which aired on October 23rd at 8 p.m. Also on Hallmark proper. This starred, and I might need help with some of these names if you can, Chris.
Sure.
Catherine Hayen, do you think? Hayena?
Yeah.
Catherine Kim. I did see her list as that. Raymond Black and Paul Sun Hyung Lee, who
Hilarious.
I freaking loved him. Give me more of him in anything, and I'm totally fine.
Yes. He was, yes. And I've seen him in something else.
He's in Kim's Convenience Store. Is that what
Yeah. Oh, that show's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe yes. Oh, Kevin, you put it together. Okay.
Yeah, I don't watch it, but yeah, so he's in, but he's been in tons of things, and he is one of those faces when you see him, you're like, I know this person. He was so delightful, and he told a million dad jokes, but the right ones, and his energy was perfect. So
I loved it.
I'll give you the quick synopsis on this. This is leading up to Christmas. Lauren Kim is visited by the ghosts of 4 ex-boyfriends. She must learn to open her heart or risk losing her best friend, Nate. There we go.
So I will say this.
Yeah.
I loved it. I really did. The one thing that I didn't love was only how predictable I knew it was. Right. So we knew that this was a Christmas Carol, but with boyfriends, and that has happened in like other rom-com situations.
Yeah. All from the past.
Yeah.
I was mad about that. My wife said it's literally in the title, and I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. But so her first boyfriend that shows up is the guy she dated in high school.
Trevor. Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And then we have a boyfriend from college.
Yeah, that was Jake.
And then we have another boyfriend from
out after school. That was Henry. He was the architect.
Yeah. Who asked her to move in. So the cool thing that was interesting about this was like, sure, high school boyfriend, and I think
very serious.
Not very serious, whatever. Then it was, but like the thing that always happened was when it was going to escalate to the next level, she broke it off.
And it tended to be at Christmas time.
Yes. So that's very important. Please don't worry. They pointed out for you directly.
Many times. Yes.
If you think you missed it, they're going to tell you about it.
If at any point you're like, hey, is it Halloween? Is this a Halloween movie? They make sure you know, no, this is 100% Christmas.
100%.
Yeah.
It's
in the title. It's Christmas.
So I'm going to... This alarm goes off because we have a new To the Hallmark Hunks performer, Raymond A. Black, who talking about spicy. Yeah. So he was in this season's Netflix show Maid, MAID, shirtless, and also on another show, Ginny and something, which now I need to go watch because now Kristin's on the stalk train.
Sure. What are we talking on that one?
I don't know. But also he's a stand-up comedian and I now follow him and stalk him on social media. And oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gourds. Okay. Oh my gourds.
Yeah, that's Nate. And the character of Nate, immediately we find that Nate and Lauren are best friends. Start in modern time. we assume they're a couple, right? They're playing Pictionary.
Yeah, they're playing like a because everyone else is coupled off playing like charades or Pictionary and stuff, and we assume they win for the third year in a row. You're like, cute. They've been dating for 3 years.
A great couple.
No, they're just best friends.
Yeah. Nate is the not love interest, but when you sounded your alarm, Kristin, I thought it was a dead parent alarm because
that's a different. This was like a woo woo. That's like a woo woo.
They said, but I'm pulling my car over regardless. But Nate is an orphan. They mention it one time, and he's kind of been adopted by the Kim family. So he always goes to dinner with Lauren, specifically her father's new wife, who is very lovely. That was awesome that there was no tension there. But he did mention that he was an orphan, both mother and father gone. And it is important to mention previously that Jack Connor, in our previous film we talked about, his father was no longer with us. So we have another dead parent alert. That's 2 for 2 or 3 for 2.
It's lovely of you to note that there was no like, I don't like my new stepmom. Like it's done. It's old. It's boring. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And I love delightful. And like she gave so much information that it was like, don't do that with this character.
And like she was teaching her like how to like because her mom wasn't around. So I just thought it was really nice that what was very evident in this film was that sure, Christmas was a big deal, but also their culture was like such a lovely bonding thing that the family had. And I will finally like I just looking at this season, thank you, Hallmark. Like, thank you for hiring other than just like a bunch of white people to do your movies. This film was outstanding, and I'm so glad we got to meet all of these wonderful actors, and I hope they're in more things because they got to put that dad in more things.
Oh my God, absolutely.
They got to put like, even the mom could just like, even though she wasn't that high of a actor like character in this one, make her a major mom in another one. She was so
Major Mom. That's the name of it's Major Mom, and there's no dead mom alert in that one.
Yay! And I also loved the best friend that she got to work with that was like in the art department, which is obviously what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So when I couldn't wait to see this slideshow that this friend from the art department put together. I was
know, and it was so hokey, man. It was like 4 pictures.
I was like, wait a second.
All people we already knew.
I was like, but just like it was a PowerPoint that used like what PowerPoint already gives you. And I was like,
And she put it on a flash drive for us. So it was like, I part of me was like, she's going to lose it. Don't lose it. It's the most important thing. And then when they played it, I was like, And she left in the middle of the presentation because that's when she realized, oh, I do have feelings for
I do have feelings, yeah.
That brings us to who would Kristin Finger play? And here's the thing, this is a very tough one for me because there was the other love interest that was starting to kind of creep in on Nate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I could have done that. Oh, God.
There was the woman who worked in the art department, same job as Kristin Finger.
I could have maybe added some less ridiculous details to that job.
Yeah. And didn't they have font jokes? Didn't they have font jokes in this movie? They had some like, and I thought of you. I was like, Kristin loves a good font joke.
Well, they had some puns. They had like puns in this one too. And I was like, I'm here for all these puns.
I think they name checked Helvetica, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He was like, oh yeah, well, 20-point Helvetica. No one wants that. And I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. The other character would be their boss. In a couple scenes. And she was fine. Didn't feel she hammed it up enough.
No.
But in the end, the character that I put you in, Chris, would have been Leo Kim, which is Lauren's father, because I love him. Yeah. So you got a lot of screen time on this one. Yeah.
I did. I jumped around a lot. It's true, though. Her boss, like that actress, God bless her, was probably not given that script. If you like looked at her lines on paper, she was probably like,
sides. She had sides and that was it. It was like, get out there and do it.
I think if they would have hired more of a comedic one, it would have been hammy and I would have fit more into that. Or they could have gone more like Devil Wears Prada. Meryl Streep.
Yeah, I'm tired of that too, though. Give me hammy. Give me like Paula Pell.
I want like
Paula Pell,
hammy.
Kristin Finger feel is what I'm looking for.
Woo! I'll take it. Thanks,
you guys
Kev.
are in a movie together.
It's fun.
Which brings us to our third movie, which was not on Hallmark. It was on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and that is the movie Christmas in My Heart. And to cover Christmas in My Heart and our mystery, we have Aubrey Williams and Shannon DeVito. Aubrey? Shannon, are you there?
I guess it's a mystery, Kevin. It's a mystery. We'll never know what that movie title that you said was about.
Well, I'll read the synopsis just in case anyone's hanging on those words. A concert violinist named Beth returns home after the recent death of her mother. And tutors the daughter of a reclusive country music star, Sean, to prepare his daughter for the upcoming holiday concert.
Is there any other kind of country star besides a reclusive country star?
I think that's it. Here's the thing, though. Concert musician, country music mixture. Was that not the exact plot to Chateau Christmas last year?
Yes, it was. Thank you for noticing.
And can I ask, Kristin, do you recall, by any chance, who it was that was in Chateau Christmas?
I believe it was the person that can actually play the cello. The one I hate most of all of them.
Oh, Luke McFarlane was in that. That's right. By the way, who was in Christmas in My Heart, the new movie this year? It was Luke McFarlane again. Like, it was the same basic plot line. And, well...
God bless him. You know, all right.
Obviously, Aubrey and Shannon are mysteriously missing and obviously going to talk about that. So
yeah, that's fine.
So I can't tell you who you would play in that movie, Chris.
Oh, who?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't either. I'm going to assume I'm going to assume because I didn't watch it. So country person probably has an agent that like is trying to get them back on track.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got to book this gig.
I understand you're upset because your wife's dead, but you got to get back out on the road.
That's right.
Yeah.
Use that sadness and write a song.
I thought you were going to dip into your cup. You were going all in. Oh. Yeah. Which brings us, Chris, to our final movie to talk about, which was a little something that aired on October 24th, also back on the proper Hallmark, called The Santa Stakeout, with Tamara Mallory Housley. Did I butcher her name?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's Mallory or Mulry, but Paul Campbell and Joe Pantoliano. I love Joey Pants. Just so you know that there's a joke in our house because Joey Pants is his nickname throughout the Hollywood. And in our house, we call him Joey No Pants because my wife saw him on Broadway with Rosie Perez in Frankie and Johnny. And there's a long lot of nudity in it. And Joey's doing fine.
Was this movie very different for your wife then, watching this film?
Well, she fell asleep. No comment on the movie. It was an enjoyable movie. This movie, the official synopsis is Tanya, a police detective who is partnered with fellow detective Ryan to solve a recent string of heists, go undercover as newlyweds, moving into the vacant house next to Mr. Miller, played by Joe No Pants, the chair of the town's Christmas committee, who is also the prime suspect in a case.
Listen, This had everything, Kevin.
Yeah.
This had Paul Campbell.
Yeah.
This had an assumably bad Italian man. This had Christmas.
Named Miller. So they were like, well, and they call him Miller.
This had one of Tia and Tamara. This had mystery. This had very sort of what do you call that? Starsky and Hutch vibes. No, Turner and Hooch vibes.
Buddy cop, yeah. Turner and Hooch, because Paul Campbell's doing Turner and Hooch on the Disney Plus. We came this close to reviewing that entire series, by the way. Just so a little inside.
Here's the thing: we said no, and this is because we love Paul so much. We learned that Paul wasn't in the whole series, and we were like, "Oh, well."
I thought he was the lead, and then we realized he wasn't, and I was like, "That's a lot to undertake." Because
a lot.
Inevitably, we knew we were coming back to do this. Yes, there were a couple other things in this one that I appreciated. We did not have a dead mom or dad alert. We had a dead wife alert. Ba-ching! Mr. Miller, Joey No Pants, his wife had passed. We know Joey No Pants was. I'm going to keep calling him that. So
that's fine.
As if that's too spicy, but. Joey Pantoliano, Mr. Miller, was a convicted. He was convicted of, I think, breaking and entering or robbery. It was not without a gun. What's the one without a gun? Burglary, right?
Burglary.
Grand theft. That's what they call it. Grand theft.
Grand theft. Yeah. And it was in his youth.
Well, it was 15 years ago, I think they said, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
And that's not his youth. No offense to Joey Pantoliano, but like, come on, 15
But here's something interesting that I did love is because he had done that and obviously has reformed himself and such. We learned, spoiler alert, at the end that he's working with this guy who also had been arrested and in prison, which is also why they're like, oh my gosh, they're in cahoots with that guy because my partner from down at the precinct, this is my impersonation of Paul Campbell in this movie. I will say they did some pretty awful detective work on this.
Oh, they sucked. Yeah.
It sucked so bad.
Actually, no, that's not fair. She was pretty good. Her detective work, the things she would do were pretty decent, but Paul Campbell's character, he was like, I don't know how he's a cop.
I love him.
He didn't do anything. The only thing he ever did is his phone beeped. And he's like, the motion detector's on. And they went out and looked to see. But
come on. I don't think they needed to be real detectives in this movie. Like, they could have just been like solving this. I don't know. I guess they had to be. But like.
They could have been insurance adjusters because it was art that was continually being stolen.
You know what? I think what I loved about their detective work was it just brought me back to like Police Academy shenanigans and like assumably Turner and Hooch shenanigans where like in the 80s when they made movies about cops, no one was ever actually like Dragnet. No one was good at their job.
No,
And it was like,
well, you're talking Dragnet, the movie with Dan Aykroyd, Pep Strebeck, and
not the movie, not the TV series,
not the TV show because they were good. But you're right. No, without a doubt. But I think what I liked about it was I didn't care about the police work. I liked the nods to the police genre films. Like You Have the Captain who's retiring, which was not, I thought of it this morning. It was nonsensical and not in no way needed, but they were using it as if he had to solve this before he could retire. And it's like, that's not how that works. The mayor threw it down my neck and I can't retire. It's like,
that guy, I hope later, spoiler alert, that's who you choose that I get to play.
No. And you're going to be happy. The captain?
No, the like rookie cop that like...
Officer Talbot, Kristin, that is exactly who I picked.
The moment he stepped on screen.
He has fishing rods, and nobody in the history of film, except for I think A River Runs Through It, has anyone ever held a fishing rod where they didn't go and bang everything with it. But yeah, no, that was 100%.
He made the best joke in the movie when he was like, "Well, I don't go fishing unless it's for compliments," and then no one responded.
I know. Yeah, well, again, it's the menagerie of actors that they use in Hallmark. The police chief was the mayor or the head of the city council from the one about the "We Want Your Christmas Tree" from last year.
Yeah.
You and I were just furious that the town's taking this guy's tree, eminent domain, your Christmas tree, because we have to do something in the.
Can we talk about Paul Campbell in a hoodie yet, though?
Absolutely. And I know you're going to talk more deeply about it, but go ahead.
No, here's something lovely that I think that obviously I'm a huge Tyler Hynes fan and I'm a huge Paul Campbell fan. They may be tied for like my favorite, just getting to watch these leading men.
Yeah.
They both have a very niche charm to them and comedic timing that's very different from each other. But Absolutely. With Paul Campbell's, it's very much more such a likable sort of like goofy charm that like I'm sold from the moment he does anything.
Yeah.
And even when he was sort of being like brooding and sort of a jerk, it's not true. You can tell it's not true. It's like this. Yeah.
The charm leaks through that. So you never don't like him.
Right.
It's funny too, because the first thing I really recall seeing Paul Campbell in was one of the Godwink movies. And I wasn't a fan because they're just so melodramatic and schmaltzy. And I just kind of put that on him. And then as the years have gone on, Five Star Christmas was excellent last year. Honestly, if push came to shove, it wasn't ranked my number one because Tyler Hynes wasn't in it, but it probably was my number one in the end. Sorry, but we can't go back. We're not doing it.
It's so good. Write more. Yeah.
But Paul Campbell in this was excellent, and I would not say he carried the film, but last year, Tamara was in the movie. What was it called? Christmas
Carousel. Oh, Christmas Comes. Oh, that's the.
Yeah, but we call it Christmas Carousel. Yeah, because and it was just. I don't know. There was a lot going on, and it didn't work for me. But their relationship worked. She was great in this. I really enjoyed her in it. I felt like he kind of, again, I'm not saying he carried it it all, but he like pushed up hard and made it easier for everybody to perform because of it, and it was very enjoyable.
I feel like if the neighbor, because the other dude that I would want to play is the neighbor that like they met while he was out walk jogging.
The one who needed the back adjustment. Yeah.
Amazing.
Because Paul Campbell's undercover as a chiropractor.
Also, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to solve this. It's that guy. I thought it was that guy.
I thought it was Talbot. Yeah. I know.
But so what I thought was like that guy could be overly cheesed, but next to Paul Campbell, he was fine. Yeah. And then like, oh my God, you know what though? I could have played this other person in this movie is that woman that I think knew that Paul Campbell's character was married, but didn't give any F.
That was real. And like, even before the two leads were going to get together, like, because they were playing under the idea that they were married. Yeah, this woman is flirting hard with him, and he's flirting back. Like, at the one point, he's like, I'm going to go get my coat. And, like, Mr. Miller's standing there. I was waiting for him to be like, are you going to cheat on your wife? But, like, she was, like, mortified. Like, his partner, she's like, and at first it's like, yeah, this woman's going to blow our cover. And then, of course, they have feelings for each other. And I never saw
But, like, at one point, that lady had a partner as well. So it was like, okay, so she's not. So then I was like, all right, I literally wrote, I'd play the neighbor that was obsessed with Paul Campbell. But I'd also like to address that we had some ugly Christmas sweaters that got to be worn in this.
So we did.
And Paul Campbell may have the second best line after Deputy Fishing Rod. He said, matching Christmas sweaters? What are we, poodles?
There was beyond the Christmas sweater, there was a mistletoe incident in this one, which is the strangest thing. And it's something that as a young person writing things, I thought was a storytelling device. But as you get older, you're like, no, it's like this weird, creepy voyeurism where two people are under a mistletoe and everybody else is like, oh, you gotta kiss, and they're like, haha, and they're like, no, you have to kiss.
No, you have
and
to
everybody is like, you gotta kiss, and they do, and it's like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
I'm not a fan of PDA.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, great.
Yeah.
But when you just like, this was like their first gathering, and I don't know. I always think that's odd when in movies they make couples kiss for just like, because they do it in White Christmas as well, and it always bothers me when it gets to that part.
There are a lot of problems with White Christmas.
There's a lot of problems with White Christmas.
Yeah.
But there's always like, oh, why don't you kiss her? And he's like, what? And he's like, why don't you kiss her? Because it's like a fake engagement. Yeah. Okay. But it's like, I get the plot point that it's like, oh no, they kissed. So now they felt something. I don't think I've ever kissed someone in front of people that I felt something. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like
that's awkward because I was at your wedding. So I hope that's not true. Unless you mean you felt something new.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't feel something new. Like, it's not like, and this was a married couple. So it's like, like, why didn't they make every other couple kiss then? Like, I don't, it's so weird.
Well, they're not under the mistletoe. There are Christmas laws, Kristin.
I just think it's a little harassmenty.
Speaking of assies, I think it's about time for a segment that we do quite often called Kristin's Hallmark Holiday Hunk, Objectification. Is it weird that we didn't have Mike Gregoric singing under that now?
Objectification. I bet he would send us a voice memo of it.
Mike will be back. We'll talk about that at the end.
We'll get him. Speaking of hunks, Mike, this is the Hallmark Holiday Hunk Objectification, where we like to objectify the male lead in these Hallmark films because let's objectify away. They don't get it enough.
So we go back to the beginning to do that.
Yeah, so let's start with Benjamin Ayres, who plays a character.
Jack Connor. His picture is up on the screen. So
what's his name? Doc Connor?
Doc Connor, yeah, Jack Connor.
Jack Connor.
John Connor. He was Terminator.
Sarah Connor.
Eddie Furlong is who we were talking about.
So Benjamin Ayres, you're not Ben, you're Kevin. Kevin, what do you give Benjamin Ayres? Because we vote off of looks, how they fit in pants, how they look in shirts. Do they act okay? Do they look okay? Yeah. Really, you can objectify anything about them. Kevin, 1 out of 10 mistletoes. We're back to mistletoes.
Yeah, we are doing mistletoes. I'm going to tell you, I'm a little bit surprised at myself on this because, again, this movie, not last year, not previous movies, or else again, how do we ever get Paul Campbell in our hearts the way he is? I was not a fan of Ben Ayres going into this. I really liked him, and one of the things I really liked is when he and Danica McKellar are in the car accident. And again, I know this is the script, but still, it was just his entire energy. He wasn't an a-hole about it.
Right.
And so often they do let's have them butt heads, and they didn't. And there's this moment where Olivia realizes that she now knows who Jack is. I mean, it does say Connor Farms on she's going to meet him when they're in this car accident. He has no idea who she is. And he starts talking about her, but not negatively, like saying, I'm meeting this person and blah, blah, blah. And then when they meet each other, it's more fun than it is
it's like, oh my gosh, look at this meet cute. Like, I think they both realized this is a very silly meet cute, you know?
So that said, I will give him I always go too high too soon. I'm going to stay with a 7. I'm going to stay with a high for it, but 7.
That's lovely. I didn't want to go too high out of the gate as well. And, but the thing is, his charm really brought him up a lot. And, you know, I do find him a fine actor. he's not my personal type of like, look at that ass. You know, I got spicy again.
That's a spicy meatball.
A spicy meatball. So I gave him a 6.5. I gave him a 6.5 because that I would say 5 of that is personality. Yeah. 1.5 of that is that ass.
Yeah. I think he's a good looking dude. Like he's definitely a guy. I was thinking of this too. Like he's a perfect wingman because he is light and funny and airy and very likely not going to swoop in and steal the lady. Tyler Hines, terrible wingman. But we're not talking about Tyler Hines. Now we're talking about a sweet fella by the name of Raymond a Black from Boyfriends of Christmas Past. I forgot the name. That's why I started. Boyfriends of Christmas Past.
I'm going to start with this one. I will start. This came out of like, it's as if like, picture yourself, everyone, just sitting on a park bench. Let's close our eyes. And you're just thinking, I'm here on my break. I'm having a sandwich. And then you look up and a dog runs past you and you're like, what a cute dog. And then suddenly everything slows down and this begins to play. Dreamweaver.
Can't play it underneath. I don't want to. But can I ask this quick question?
Yeah.
What kind of sandwich are you talking about?
I had a turkey on rye.
Forget it.
Okay.
I'm out.
Came out of left field is what I'm telling you. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't prepared. My loins weren't ready. And there was a moment where he took that elf hat off and then he just went and like flopped his curly mane. And I was like, excuse me, you don't have the right to do that. I didn't know that was going to happen. And then he has shirts on and he just has like just a whisper of chest hair. Yeah. Didn't know he was going to do that.
Man, I'll tell you.
They did have him in one really ugly sweater. And I was like, yo, more fitted, please. Mm-hmm. So I could have gone with a better, that's on wardrobe. That's on wardrobe. Okay. I gave him a 9. I gave him a 9 because he's lovable.
Yeah.
That ass, that everything, his hair,
that ass is getting mentioned a lot. I like it. I can't wait till we get to Joey Pantoliano and see where we're at with that ass. Here's my thinking on Boys from the Block, from Raven of Black. I could not remember my brain. I'm going to go lower than the 9. I'm going to stick with a solid 8. And my reasoning is, liked the character until they started getting towards the end. And he started kind of doing some things that I was like, yeah, I don't buy this anymore. Like, I just don't. Like, he put in so much time with Lauren that it wasn't, and I get that Lauren had to come back to him. Like, she had to show up. She had to sacrifice. And she ended up leaving her pitch meeting and being like, hey, man, I have feelings for you, too. But yes, I know they did do the carriage ride. And part of me was like, does that bump it up? But it doesn't. And also carriage rides and that weird blanket that both people wear. I just watched it the whole time, and all I'm thinking is, that's just trapping farts. That's all I could think of. That's all I could think of.
All I thought of was scabies, so that's fine.
That's the same thing. Scabies are trapped farts. Kristin,
yes.
I know we didn't really delve into it. Shannon and Aubrey, I guess they'll get back to us.
I guess.
We need to talk about Luke McFarlane. 3.
2.
Awesome. All right, and finally, we have the Paul Campbell in Santa Claus, the Santa Claus Stakeout. Kristin,
yes,
I'll go first. I'm just going to throw it out there right away. I'm going to give him a 9. I love him. I will say this. He reminds me a lot of my cousin Dan. And my cousin Dan, I don't know if he actually watches these. He always asks me if I'm going to do them. But he's in Chicago. He loves comedy. He's awesome.
Is he single? He
just got married? He's about to have. We'll have a baby. Not when this comes out, but is having a baby very soon. And he's the best. But he looks a lot. I'll send you a picture. He looks a lot like Paul.
Clearly, I'm single.
I was there. I was at the wedding.
So a 9. That's lovely. So I'm going to talk about right out of the gate. Oh boy. Thank you for putting him in those pants. So there was something about, I mean, I love a tall, skinny guy, and I'm not sure if Tamara is very short, but he just, his stance, his stature in this. And then they threw him in a hoodie right out of the gate. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Then they threw a jacket on top of the hoodie where he popped out the hood.
Yeah.
I'm in. Okay. Then they put him in just some well-fitted shirts. Well done. And there is some gray coming in my man's hair.
Salt and pepper.
And I sign up for it. And there is something about a smile and his jawline, and he looks like Kevin. I gave him a 10.
Did you? Oh man, that's tiny numbers.
That's tiny numbers, but I am obsessed. I think he's delightful. And here's something fun. I really do. And Paul Campbell, please.
Yeah.
Kevin and I are available to be writing partners with. You can put us in films, but also like, let's have a game night with your family. Kevin has kids. I have a husband that'll come and play games. I think we'd all have like a really fun time. And I know that's creepy.
Yeah. It's really creepy if he sees my notes, because I did write in my notes, Paul Campbell can get it. So
I think he appreciates it.
I don't think we're doing game night. You know, maybe Risk. We'll see what happens.
I think he's delightful. His Instagram is the best. Him and his son should have their own show.
Awesome. Yeah. And Paul Campbell is the writer of the Tyler Hines film that will be coming up later in this season. So like,
I can't even.
Yeah. He's got his hands in a lot of pots.
I feel like Hallmark was like, what is Kristin like? Let's do that.
Speaking of what Kristin, we said it. I was going to say, who would Kristin play? It's Talbot. You guessed it.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the mystery? The mystery solved.
Mystery solved. We figured it out. Also, I love that we didn't even talk about who done it.
No.
I don't want to spoil it in case someone's just listening to this.
Yeah, watch it. It was pretty obvious actually. There was a point where I not early, but like way before it was revealed, I knew who it was, because I was like, it's definitely not him, because it doesn't do service to.
Yeah, anything. I knew it wasn't him, but that's why.
But then I just kind of did some math, and I was like, well, who's left? I did still have Talbot on the back of my head, but not when he came in and kind of yelled at them in lieu of the captain, because the captain was yelling at them.
I forgot about that character, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I didn't even put her in the running.
They did it then. They did what they set out to do. Kristin Finger, how about a preview of what is coming up on this weekend? We're going to have Christmas in Harmony. We're going to have Coyote Creek Christmas, C3. We're going to have The Christmas Promise on the Hallmark Movies and Mystery. And we have the Christmas Sale will be on Halloween, and that is the one with Katie Sackhoff, and I'm excited. And Terry O'Quinn, lots of sci-fi people.
I am very excited for this Christmas in Harmony one. They kept showing the previews for it during the Santa Stakeout, and I was like, this looks really good.
Yeah. We'll keep watching them. We'll keep talking about them. It is an abbreviated version, obviously. If you look at your timer, didn't quite hit that 45-minute mark, but not too far off. But tell us what you think. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. And you can write to us at remarktheshow@gmail.com. It's right there. And Kristin and I will be back. This is kind of a pre-plug, but we are going to be back with the Mike Gregoric. He swears he will do it with us. And we are going to review Disney Plus's series Hawkeye, which will start on November 22nd. So if you don't have Disney Plus, I'm sure you can find a BitTorrent somewhere. And
also for those folks that are watching this and are like, I'm not like a Marvel fan. Hawkeye is heavily Christmas themed.
Yes.
So I think it perfectly would suit you. On the poster, there is a dog in a Santa hat.
That's his dog. His dog is going to be in it. So, check it out. To Chris's point, it's a little bit different. And also, you don't have to watch these shows. You can watch these shows regardless. Obviously, some of the content will be lost on you, but especially for the Disney stuff, we play a lot of games and goof around. So
that has more prep work than this.
Yes.
This is just Kevin and I shooting the shittles. I got spicy again.
I think you can say that. Speaking of, I think I have some Skittles in my candy box. Skittle. It's a typo. My bad. But Chris, we did it. That's it. That's our episode for this week. So tune in, check us out. Chris, anything you want to plug before we split?
Yeah, baby. I don't know when you're releasing this, but how about come see the Blue Show, where we're all going to be in Halloween costumes. I might be Ted Lasso. Spoiler alert. And then, of course, Comedy Sports has 7:30 matches right now. Bring your Vax card, bring your ID, and come see some comedy safely in a space with laughter.
Saturdays at 7:30, correct?
That's correct.
Awesome. I don't know if you said that. And you can listen to another podcast I do called the Punch Up Podcast. Kristin Finger has been a guest on it. It is with Steve Roney, Ian O'Shea, Jesse Preisendorfer. We have a storyteller who comes in. They tell a story. This week we have Halloween stories with guest Dave Jadico, who was a guest on this very show last season.
Yes. Remember he was like the first episode with like the second, or I don't know.
But remember, he had the fireplace behind him.
It was really cute.
Yeah, it was great. I think it was the first Hallmark movie Dave ever watched. So,
yes.
But yeah, so you can check out the Punch Up Podcast, or just go back and watch old episodes of Remark. Watch us doing Loki, whatever you want to do.
Oh, please watch our Loki ones. I'm super proud of those.
Yeah, they were fun. That's it.
That's it.
Merry Halloween.
Spooky. Monster Squad.